Hello and welcome, everyone. I am so glad you joined us for Going Virtual with Kate. This is our last week. It's bittersweet for me, but I'm really, really excited. We have a really interesting topic that I think you all are going to find really helpful to help you out through your virtual conferencing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up our chat area here. So make sure that you're commenting, letting me know where you're coming from and what you've been doing to keep busy during the isolation. I have some pretty exciting news. I adopted a puppy. So for me right now, I am fully training the doggo, which I'm actually right now having him babysat so that I could do this with you guys today. So go ahead and let me know where you're from and what you've been doing to keep busy during the isolation. Before we kind of jump into what we're talking about today, I did mention that it is our last Going Virtual with Kate. We are going to continue to bring you a lot of great resources through our blog, through our social media, case studies, and webinars, which we actually have a webinar coming up next week. Make sure you check out CommPartner's various social media sites or the website to take a look and register for that. Totally free, and really we want you to be involved in getting these resources for your virtual conferencing needs. We're also going to be giving you some information via our Peak conference. So annually we have a conference that talks about what we do and how to, leverage the different systems that we work with. And this year we were supposed to go to Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., and we were supposed to go in the summer, but we decided for the health of our staff and for you, we decided to actually postpone that to next summer. So next summer, we are going to be at Nationals Park. This year, just like all of you, we're going virtual. So what we're doing is we are going to be doing our virtual conference where you will you'll be able to learn more about virtual conferencing. That's our whole topic. It's going to be a great afternoon full of exciting sessions, and we're really going to dive deeper. It's going to talk about a lot of what we talked about today. We're going to dive deeper into that. So go ahead and register at peak.compartners.com. I'm going to go ahead and show you the website. As you can see, we've only got 69 days left until we do our Peak 2020. We're really excited to have you here, and just keep looking back because we will have our agenda going up in the coming weeks. Thank you so much again for joining. Make sure you're commenting as to where you are and what you have been doing to keep busy during the isolation. But without further ado, I'm going to jump into our last topic for Going Virtual with Kate. It is a hot topic. It's the topic you guys have been wanting to talk about since we started this whole thing, and that's virtual exhibit halls. Obviously, that is something that is completely unknown to a lot of people. Exhibit halls is something that is embedded in almost every conference, but how do you make that go virtual? So we're going to just talk about how to make sure that they're dynamic and engaging sessions, or dynamic and engaging for your learners. We want to make sure that they're interacting with your exhibitors, and we also want to make sure that it's designed well. So we're going to kind of go through a really fast-paced version of how-to on this. Make sure that you ask questions if you have any, and yeah, let's just dive right in. So your exhibit hall, it can be completely customized as much as you and your sponsors want it to be. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at Sophie. They were a former or past guest on our Going Virtual with Kate, and they are a client of ours. So the Society of Public Health Education, they had a really well laid out exhibit hall, and we love showing this off. They had various sponsorship levels. So you can see the VIP sponsors or exhibitors are right there. And then you scroll down and you see the other exhibitors. They also have each of their exhibitors branded with their exhibitor logo. So this is a really great way, just like you would with a booth, and you catch your eye when you see a booth. This is how you would catch your eye. So encouraging those logos is really key. So we're going to dive actually into one of these virtual booths. Walden University here was a great example of really utilizing all the features that we had available to them at that time. And you want to kind of identify before you offer sponsorships what you're going to be offering to the sponsors in their exhibit hall. So you can see that they have their large logo right here. They also have some PDF and downloadable documents over here that are resources for the attendees. They have some videos that are embedded. And then they also have two features that I think people don't think about too much, but the chat feature, which we'll talk about in just a moment, and a contact us form. They chose to use a QR code. There's so many different ways, but utilizing a contact us feature is the an absolute great way to get your name out there, and then also make yourself available to the attendees for answering questions. So we're also going to take a look at their poster session here. You can see that Sophie has a poster hall. Now I'm not logged in, so this is kind of an awesome thing where it does make it so that only attendees can see this information. So if I was registered and logged in right now, you would be able to see all the posters, but this just tells us that we can log in. So you can restrict the access to varying levels of information. So you can do a poster session here. And you can see they had many, many posters available. And we're going to just go back real quick to that last exhibit booth. I want to talk about the chat feature. So we want to make sure that during the exhibit halls, just like you would in person, you're giving the sponsors the opportunity to interact with your attendees. So making sure that you have like a chat feature, maybe an email like they have here available, something that's, you know, maybe an instant messaging, something that's able to give a normal interaction that you would normally get when you're on site. All right. I want to show one other feature here when it comes to designing is just making sure that you're putting logos in a particular space in various spaces throughout your website and unique locations. So you can see here on our Camp No Limit site, which again was a former guest of ours, you can see the carousel down here on that lower left corner of the sponsors. This is on their home page, and it scrolls through their sponsors, and you know, you can put as many or as little as you'd like. You could also brand various sites or various pages of your site with the logo if they sponsored that. So those are all kind of your options there for design. The main thing is that you want it designed so that it's easy for your attendees to use, but it's also giving your exhibitors the exposure that they're paying for, really. So once you've designed the perfect virtual hall, you're ready to make sure that the sponsors and exhibitors are interacting with the attendees and that they're getting positive interaction on the page and, you know, with each other. So here's just a few tips that we're going to kind of run through that we've found just in the time that we've been doing this during COVID. These are some tips that we found that might be helpful for you. So we mentioned that chat feature. I can't say that enough. I mean, part of the whole exhibit hall thing is getting those exhibitors in front of the attendees. So you want to make sure that you're giving them that opportunity to chat and also giving the attendees time to ask questions. So letting them peruse, you know, as if they would go through a booth and look at all the documents and things put out there. You would want to make sure that they have the same opportunity. And then they could go and talk to the staffing of the exhibitors. You could also have a discussion board, which I think is something kind of really unique and awesome feature, where you could have actual attendees interacting with each other and with the exhibitors. So if there's some kind of hot topic or something that, you know, you guys want to discuss in a exhibit, that would be a really great way of doing that. Another really unique way of getting interaction is a scavenger hunt. Creating a scavenger hunt through your virtual conferencing website is directing your attendees purposefully through various levels and various areas of your virtual conference website. So you want to just make sure that you kind of are finding a scavenger hunt that leads people to the places you want them to go. You can actually use a higher level of sponsorship as something that they must see on a scavenger hunt or interact with. And it makes it a required stop. So our next tip is for credits or certifications. So many of you are offering credits and certifications, and you could potentially make it a requirement to interact with and network with some of your exhibitors and sponsors in order to receive the certification. So I remember back in college, we just started doing these online discussion posts, which all of the professors were really into. And one of the things that was always required was a weekly contribution to the discussion boards. So it's something to think about if you want to give out credit for things, think about ways to leverage that. I do want to show you another client's website. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over here to the American Alliance Museums site. Now they did a giveaways and specials page. And I think this is something that I don't think people think about a lot, but if your conference rules allow it, definitely do some specials and giveaways. And if you house them either in a booth or in a page like this, where they're all listed kind of in in a nice little bulleted listing, you would be able to attract obviously some attendees to exhibitors. So you could do 15% off a product, or first 10 people to contribute to the discussion board get an Amazon card or something like that. All right. So then we've got our last, or no, not our last. We've got two more tips for you. I encourage interacting with surveys. So surveys will give you a real-time reaction to what's going on. The other nice thing about surveys is that you can kind of catalog it and look back at it later, especially if you're going to do another virtual conference. So I would definitely say making sure that you're embedding surveys into your exhibit hall, into your the booth. So if the exhibitor has some questions, maybe they're looking for some suggestions from your attendees, it'd be a really great way of putting that in there. Now for the last tip, which we kind of touched on a little bit, is embedding forms into your exhibit hall and into your exhibit hall booth. It's a great way to capture and up your subscription list. And you want to make sure that you're making sure it's got an RSS feed and you can kind of plug it in there and it'll look nice, clean, and compact. But it is a great way of getting some information. And you can also use and combine some of these features. For example, if you complete a survey, you have an entry to win a prize. Here's the listing of prizes. Or go into the scavenger hunt and submit your name and on their contact us form. And that's how you get credit for your certification. So it's a great way of interweaving all of these things. We do say that creativity is how you're going to survive this and kind of get through this with flying colors. You want to make sure that you're being as creative as possible. If you do have any ideas as far as your exhibit hall, just throw that through your event producer and they'll be able to help you out with that. Another great resource for creativity is the session we did here, the episode we did with Camp No Limits. They really stretched their virtual conference beyond the previously notions of virtual conference, the limits of what a virtual conference could be. They really did a great job. So I really encourage, take a look at that blog and the video that accompanies that. And just really, feel free to contact us if you have questions about how we interact and make an engaging exhibit hall for your attendees and your exhibitors. I'm going to stop here. I know I went through all that really quickly, but I wanted to make sure that we, as always, kept it short and sweet. Go ahead and ask any questions you might have. And while I wait to see if there are any questions from my tech team, I just want to thank you all again for joining me every single week. This has been a really fun and engaging thing for me to do weekly. We have been really using your tips and your suggestions of what you want to hear about to drive the conversation. As always, there is going to be an accompanying blog posted along with this video. We'll hope to get it up either tonight or tomorrow. And I think there's no questions. So I want to thank you all and thank the production team. As always, they are awesome. They're able to get this done for me and for you guys. And just as I said before, we are going to be hosting a lot of other helpful resources for you on our CommPartners website and on our socials. So make sure you check those out. We'll also have a webinar next week. We're actually going to be talking about how to engage in discussion boards and things like that. So go ahead and take a look at our website for information on how to register for that. And last but not least, please don't forget to register for Peak. It is going to be a really, really great thing for you guys to watch. If you're thinking about doing a virtual conference, if you've already had one, you're going to do another one, or if you're just a complete novice, it is going to cover everything that we've talked about and more. So go to peak.compartners.com to register. Make sure you get your registration in soon. Otherwise, stay safe, stay healthy, and I really appreciate you guys doing it. Thank you so much.